Hi, Dr. Dolly. I appreciate your podcast. I just have a question. If I'm a health care student on HPSP military scholarship and my school allows me to take out as many direct and grad plus loans as I'd like, and I'm already committing 4 years to public service, and the idea of staying in the military or finding another public service job to hit the 10 years is a possibility. What would hold me back from maximizing my student loan disbursements so that I'm maxing my return on investment by doing public service loan forgiveness? I know this question rubs people wrong because there's an ethical dilemma here as far as student loan forgiveness and cheating or playing the system to your benefit. Anyways, just love to hear what you think about that. Thanks.
Let's talk about your situation in general, and then talk about your situation specifically. Number one, I don't like this. I don't like that people even think about this. This is what we call moral hazard, not because we're talking about moral and immoral, but the term refers to incentives. It's an economics term. It refers to incentives when people are incentivized to do something they otherwise would not. For example, if you think you're going to get your student loans forgiven, you're incentivized to take out more student loans than you need, than you would otherwise take out if you were not expecting them to be forgiven. And that's moral hazard. It's a side effect of poorly written policy, really. And so I hate the fact that people are even thinking about this, but people are thinking about it all the time. I hear this question very often of whether you should borrow more and spend more or invest more with the money than you otherwise would take out. And my general answer to that is no. The main reason why is because things change, right? A certain percentage of medical students every year don't match, for instance, right? And then they can't get a PSLF qualifying job, for instance. Or you end up changing your mind and you don't want to be an academic. Or, you find a really great job, or you marry somebody and they want to live in their hometown. There's no PSLF qualifying jobs there. Who knows what's going to happen 10 or 15 years from now when it comes time to really make your decisions about what job you take and how much you want to work. Maybe you want to stay home with the kids. I have no idea. And the problem is these decisions you've made as an MS1 and how much loans you've taken out has taken away your freedom 15 years from now in how you live your life. And so I, as a general rule, think this is a bad idea, even though you can run the numbers and show that it's a good idea. Right? That if it all works out, it's great. You should borrow as much as you can and get it all forgiven. I just don't think it's a good idea. The other problem you run into is you run into a moral and legal issue here with regards to student loans. When you take out a student loan, you sign a master promissory note. And let me read you a section from the master promissory note for the William D. Ford Federal Direct Loan Program for direct subsidized loans and direct unsubsidized loans. Basically, the federal loans you're taking out for medical school. If you go down to the section under borrower requests, certifications, authorizations, and understandings that you sign your name to at the bottom of the form, you will read this paragraph. Under penalty of perjury, I certify that I will use the loan money I receive only to pay for my authorized educational expenses for attendance at the school that determined I was eligible to receive the loan, and I will immediately repay any loan money that is not used for that purpose. So can you take student loan money and invest it? No, not legally. You just signed under penalty of perjury that you would not do that. It's against the contract. And so I recommend people don't do that because it's illegal. Now, are they going to find out? Probably not, right? I don't know how they're going to find out, but that doesn't mean it's not illegal. Now, let's talk about your situation in particular. You're there under HPSP Scholarship, meaning the military is paying every dime of your educational expenses. They're paying all the tuition, all the fees, all the equipment. Any required equipment or books is paid for, right? I was on HPSP Scholarship. I know how it works, right? They bought me a stethoscope and they bought me an otoscope and an ophthalmoscope, and anything the school would say was required, they bought for me. And I got every dime out of them that they were on contract to give me. But you know what? They got every bit of time out of me that I contracted to give them. It was a mutually, whatever you want to call it, relationship. Whether you want to call it a predatory relationship or whether you want to call it a business relationship, we certainly got everything out of each other that we could possibly get out of each other. The issue I would have is signing a promissory note that says I'm going to use loan money to pay for my authorized educational expenses when somebody else is paying for my educational authorized expenses. It seems really hard for me to get a bunch of money from the military and also certify that I need this money to go to school. I don't know. I'm having a hard time, feeling good about signing that note for that purpose, even though your scheme would seem that it would work out fine, right? Because you go do a military residency for 3 or 4 or 5 years, right? And then you owe them 4 years. Maybe you stay another year after that, and all those student loans are forgiven. Maybe you come out $300,000, $400,000 ahead. But basically, you've got to lie to do it. So I'm going to recommend against doing that. And the truth is, there's some risk there. Something happens in your life and such that you can't serve in the military, or you just want to get out at all costs and you don't want to finish the time required to serve in the military and get PSLF. Who knows? I just wouldn't do it. I understand why you're thinking about it. I understand what the numbers would look like if you ran them, but I think it's a bad idea for you to do. So I'm going to recommend against that. Thank you, however, for your service. Enjoy your time as a military doc. Enjoy the fact that they're going to pay you a couple grand a month in living expenses and invest some of that money as you go along. Take advantage of the fact that the residencies generally pay you more, that you get a great 401k with the military TSP. It even has a match now and a Roth option that it didn't have when I was in. And enjoy that special experience that it is serving your country. Special good and special bad at times, but definitely special. And the further away you get from it, you forget more of the bad and you remember the good. So thank you for your service and good luck with medical school. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.
My dad, your host, Dr. Dolly, is a practicing emergency physician, blogger, author, and podcaster. He is not a licensed accountant, attorney, or financial advisor, so this podcast is for your entertainment and information only and should not be considered official, personalized financial advice.